So what is wholesaling? Let's see, this is wholesaling, okay? In my mind, this is how I think about it. We are like the pawn shop of real estate, okay? If you ever been to a pawn shop, maybe you've got a gun that you want to sell that has been passed down from generation to generation, and you take it to a pawn shop. There's something that's going on in your world to not sell that thing for retail price, right? And so you take it to a pawn shop, and you know that you're going to walk into the pawn shop and they're not going to give you 100% value for that item, right? When people work with us, they know that we're in it to make money. They understand who we are. When you go to the grocery store is not buying the eggs directly from the farmer. They're not buying the lettuce directly from the farmer. There's somebody that's bringing volume to them, right? There's a middleman, there's a wholesaler. So in real estate, there's a wholesaler in real estate. It's an ecosystem of what we're going to talk about this week. So we operate in this ecosystem. The problem is people think of us like a pawn shop. They think of us like these people that are ripping people off, screwing them over, saying things that aren't true to them, and lying to them, and taking like grandmother's money is what a lot of people think. When I got around wholesalers with integrity, it changed everything that I thought about. I came into this world as a wholesaler thinking they were scum. Like it's creepy, right? And so my goal now is to change that for the people who have integrity. Like, how can we do business? How can we be honest and ethical and upfront? People that we do business with, they know what we're doing. They know that we're marketing the contract that we have on their house for sale. They know. It's just what we do. I mean, this contract that they sign, we get equitable interest in the contract, and then we turn around and sell the contract for a fee. So what I do is I go out and look for buyers. So it's people like you, it's flippers, it could be apartment buyers, it could be land developers, it could be Airbnb buyers, it's a landlord, it's all of these people that we work with or we provide. They're the grocery stores, and we provide the stuff from the farm, right? It's just kind of like that. So now that we've got that covered, we're the pawn shop of real estate, right? These are the important things as a wholesaler: marketing and sales. And I would argue to say that every business is marketing and sales. Marketing, sales, and operations drive any business anywhere. It doesn't matter. You got to be a good marketer. You got to sell stuff. I'm selling you on something right now. I'm selling you on myself. Like every conversation that you have with somebody, someone is selling something. When my kids have a conversation with me in the morning, they are selling me something. And sometimes they're better than me at sales because they cry a lot more than I do sometimes. So marketing and sales, when you think about this, every single thing that you do is marketing and sales, and you've got to think like that, okay? Here's the wholesale cycle. Step one, lead generation. You've got to be able to generate leads. I have got to go out and find leads. If you're a flipper, you got to generate leads. If you're an apartment investor, you got to generate leads. If you're raising money for a deal, you got to generate leads. Every single thing we do is marketing and lead generation. I got to generate leads for sellers, and I've got to generate leads for buyers. So I'm that middleman that needs both. Lead conversion, I've got to be a good salesperson. I've got to convert that lead into a potential profit. And then I've got to do something in fulfillment. And the fulfillment side for us is selling that contract to an end buyer. And that end buyer, I've got to market to that end buyer and sell that end buyer. So as a wholesaler, I've got business to customer sales on the front end, and I've got business to business sales on the back end. So two different types of marketing and selling on the front and back end of these deals. So this is like my world. And if you like marketing and sales, you can see how heavy it is in this world, right? We're marketing and selling on a consistent basis. So I'm going to talk a little bit about target marketing. Like, who is your target market? Supply and demand is so important. And I'm going to talk about this very specific on marketing. Everybody always asks me, like, what's the top marketing channel for you? That's the #1 question that I get. Like, what's working for you right now? Okay, I'm going to tell you if I have money and I don't have money. I feel like if anybody tells you that you can become a wholesaler if you have no time and no money, they're probably selling you something that you shouldn't buy, okay? They're lying to you. And there are some strategies that it's possible to do, but I think you got to have time or you got to have money. If you have both, great. But I had money. I had some money when I started. I didn't have any time. So I had to structure my business a little bit differently than somebody on this call who might have time but no money. Your strategies look different. So I'm going to cover both. So what if you didn't have any money? I only have $100 to my name, right? And I want to wholesale. Well, you got to have some time. So what are some strategies for marketing that you can use if you don't have any money? And some of you might fall in this boat. And look, guys, I'm going to tell you, we're talking about wholesaling, but this goes for anything. If you're a flipper, if you're a landlord, if you're a commercial investor, like all of these things are the same. You've got to put in the work if you don't have any money. And it's networking, like number one thing, networking. Networking with real estate agents, networking with other people that you know. Go to church and talk about it. That whole secret identity that we talked about, get rid of it. Start talking about what you're doing. Hey, I'm looking for distressed properties. Have you seen any? I'll pay some referral fees if you find me one and I close on it. Like, network and talk about what you do. I used to just hand out business cards that had different things on them. Like, I had a business card for sellers, I had a business card for buyers. On my business card for buyers, it had my squeeze page on the back. So I'd hand it out and say, you could just sign up on my website and say, hey, if you're looking for deals, I got deals, I got deals. Even though I had no deals. Like, I had no deals. But I was marketing for them, right? Because I had no money, I was networking. Cold calling and door knocking. So this is one. Here's a tip. When you guys go for a walk in different areas around different neighborhoods if you're looking for houses. Go look for distressed houses. Talk to the people that are outside. There's a lady or a man in every single neighborhood that knows single thing that's going on in the neighborhood. Okay? My next door neighbor right now, there was a domestic disturbance in my nice neighborhood. And their house is up for sale 2 months later. I knew their house was going to go up for sale because there were 16 cop cars in front of my house with M16s surrounding the house one day. When I was out of town, my wife sends me a video and is freaking out. And so we may have sent him some marketing. Like, I knew that house was going to go on the market. There's no doubt. 2 months later, boom, the sign's in the yard, right? So there's somebody, you know, that person that knows everything that's going on in the neighborhood, right? So that's going on. So probate, code violation, boarded up houses, vacants, tax, evictions, all these like niche type lists. Go knock on some doors. Find somebody's phone number, give them a call. Like, you've got to go find off-market deals. We've got to find stuff. I did the analysis on the last, we've done about 650 deals now in my time when I started. 10 of them came from the MLS. Like 640 of them came from off-market, off the MLS. If I was still relying on them on-market properties, I wouldn't be doing very well. Evictions, arrests, notice of default, texting. Texting is a huge, how many unread text messages do you have on your phone right now? Couple? 1 or 2? How many unread emails do you have? 30,000? 50,000? Like, some people in my mastermind have over 100,000. When they see their phone, it freaks me out, right? And how many unlistened to voicemails and phone calls do you have? But unread Facebook messages, unread text messages. Like, think about, put yourself in their shoes. How are you consuming information? Driving for dollars. This is just driving around looking for crappy houses. So you got a distressed house or you have a distressed seller. So some of these are distressed sellers, probate, code violations, boarded up houses, vacant houses, like evictions or like arrests, like these kind of things, distressed people. Distressed houses, like the boarded up, vacant stuff, if you can tell it's that. But you drive around in unkept houses. Drive around during trash day and see what the crappy houses that don't have trash cans out. Likely vacant, and you can probably get in front of them. You got to go track down and find those sellers. So this is some of the techniques and strategies that we use. Signs, bandit signs. We don't really use bandit signs. They're called bandit signs because they're illegal. We really don't do it. Some people will put them up on Friday, take them down on Sunday. That's a great way to do it. It's just not really my business model and my structure. A lot of people use them and successful. The biggest thing is do what others are unwilling to do. Like, you guys are probably looking at some of this like, I'm not going knocking on doors. I'm not doing that. That's uncomfortable. I got to talk to them. I got to have a conversation. So do what other people are uncomfortable in doing. That's where the money lives. If you have money, like this kid, $10, a Hamilton. All right, so direct mail, big lists, niche lists. So this is what I started my business on. I was in the have money area. I pulled lists of equity, and I'll show you where I pulled it real quick. And I marketed to them using postcards and letters. Google AdWords, so online. When you Google something, if you don't know, that thing that says ad on the very top that you're clicking on all the time, is costing somebody about $50. So if you Google my company right now, do not click on my ad. Go down to the top search result where it doesn't say ad and click on that. Otherwise, you're going to cost me $50. That's about how much it costs for me to get a click right now. So crazy. It's expensive. It cost me about $500 just to get somebody to fill out their information in there. So Google AdWords, pay-per-click. Facebook ads, another big one. So you see it says sponsored. You may have seen I was running Facebook ads for this event. You might have actually bought this event from a Facebook ad that I ran for it. With a week left, I was frustrated that we didn't have enough money for the charity. So I personally ran Facebook ads from my brand page out of my own pocket. So if you're here and you bought off my Facebook ad, thank you. You know, that's great. You've supported an incredible cause. But I started running Facebook ads because we know how to do it. Big media. So this is where I'd start saying you guys probably want to go to another market before going deeper in the niche. Big media is like billboards and TV and radio. That stuff can get really, really expensive in our world. So here's what I use for my lists, list source. And I'm going to, by the way, I'm going to give you all these slides. So I see people like writing down, taking pictures, stuff like that. I'm going to give you the slides. They'll be up in your portal, okay? So if that helps, and I am going a little bit fast because I'm trying to cover like 5 years of information in 30 minutes for you and pack it as tight as I can. List source. List source is what we use. It's a site where you can go pull sellers and information. You can pull homeowners. So if you wonder, like, why am I getting all this junk mail? Somebody's pulling your data somewhere and buying it. So I can go buy, they aggregate data and they sell it as a third-party provider, and I go buy it. I can use age. I can put price of house. I can put zip codes. I can draw a map. I can say, I can get as deep in some of the data that I use right now as potentially credit score and job and demographic, like all kinds of stuff. You can buy a ton of data out there, perfectly legal. And so now from there, now if you skip trace them and cold call them, you want to work some of the legalities of those kind of things, whether they're on the do not call list. I'm not going to go in depth on that, but as far as mail goes, the US Postal Service is just fine, like sending people mail. Kramer's the only guy that I've ever seen to try to not get mail. Okay, so these are my postcards. They're going to be in there. I'll give them to you. This is the one that we currently use right now. No fees, no commissions, sell as is, guaranteed offer, close on the date of your choice. It talks a little bit about it. There's a call to action here though. Can you see it? Urgent notice, house is wanted, you get it. There's a call to action. So some sort of CTA that's on this. Direct response marketing is what I'm a professional at. Like how do I get a response from somebody? Even if I don't like a ton of angry responses, but believe me, we get plenty. Like I don't use third notice, last chance, like you got to call me or we're going to foreclose on your house, that kind of stuff. That just overwhelms my team. So there's a lot of strategy. Dan talked about strategy. This is huge strategy and KPIs, the key performance indicators. Here's another example. This one's a little bit more like I'm a neighborhood friend that's looking to buy houses, that kind of stuff, than more of a call to action like the other one. The direct response, this one gets a better response, the previous one, because it's got a big CTA. It's right there. You want to make sure your phone number is bold. You want to make sure the call to action is clear. They know what you want them to do. There's something on there called variable data, which shares the address, the name, their name, their address, those kind of things. So you can see that it's Scott and they're at, I don't know, 11208 Dolly Pond Road somewhere. So you can see that there's variable data, so they're talking to them. So they're like, oh, well, urgent notice, like this has my name and my address on it. It wants to get a response. So this next thing is the data. So Dan talked about KPIs and key performance indicators, so important. The data is it. Like dial in your data, track your numbers. You've got to, if you're gonna run a business, when it was just me, I could say, oh, I spent $500 this month and I made 10,000. This is a good month. Now I have $1 million payroll. I have huge expenses. We spend $45,000 a month on marketing, like I just talked about. So I've got to know my numbers. If I'm only making $2 for every dollar I spend, I'm losing money as a business owner. I got to be making about $3 or more per dollar I spend now, and I got to know my numbers, and we got to watch it really close. CRM, this customer resource management, this is another thing that people ask me all the time. My biggest recommendation to you, if you guys are just getting started, is a piece of paper and a pencil is how I started. You don't need to build out the fancy whiz-bang stuff in the beginning. Just do some deals. I did my first flips in my own name. I'm not giving you legal advice right now, but I didn't go out and set up an LLC and set up a website and get a CRM and get everything perfect and then go take action. Taking action is the most important thing. I went out and I did a deal. I made some money. I said, this feels good. I'm going to do it again. I did it again. And then I did 2 deals in my own name and said, this is probably not the smartest thing as I'm growing my company and hiring people and starting to grow. And I didn't have any assets in the beginning for anybody to take. So think about what it looks like for you and figure that out. But I'll tell you, step 1, go take action, go do something. So the CRM that we use right now is called Podio, and we use InvestorFuse. It's like a wrap around Podio with some automations. It's expensive. It's like 150, 200 bucks a month, something like that. So I would rather, as a new investor, you're going out and spending that on marketing in the beginning, especially when you don't need a great CRM with a bunch of automation when nobody's calling you. So go make the phone ring and then start freaking out that you can't keep track of all your leads, and then go figure out a place to put all your leads. Lead conversion, actual sales. Like it's just like you've got to track it through the system and through the process, right? And I'm going to give you guys some secrets to closing deals. Okay, you guys want the secrets? I've got like, I think I got 5 of them. Good? You want secrets? I need a head nod, thumbs up. I know this stuff already. You guys, okay, you want it. All right, you want the secrets. All right, secret number 1, answer your phone. So answer your phone. It's so competitive right now, you've got to answer your phone. Don't send them to voicemail. You're going to waste marketing money if you're not answering your phone. So we answer our phone live. We're at 100% live answer rate now between the hours of 7 and 6 p.m. Central Time with my team. We have 4 ladies that answer the phone. They just happen to be ladies. And they answer the phone live. It's fantastic. And we have an overflow service that will answer backup. Again, you don't need all that stuff if phone's not ringing. So get your phone to ring, get to the point where you're like, oh crap, I can't answer this many live calls, and then go figure out how to fortify the foundation of your business. Secret number 2, follow up. Follow up, okay? Like what happened when I was using pieces of paper and pencil is I would write all these leads down, and then the lead would go to the bottom of the pack. And after a while, I wouldn't call them back. I'd just be working on the top of the stack. So you've got to follow up. The money is in the follow-up period in any business. Lenders, like somebody will go cold on me and just find a way, become a direct response marketer again. Secret number 3, show up on time. If you are going to an appointment, be on time. Be professional. Like you're in a sales environment, in a sales role, right? Show up on time, be professional. So I'm just checking my time right now as I talk about being on time. So I just went to Google. I typed in the Google machine, how do I make the best impression? And this is what I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Be on time or 10 minutes early. Be positive and relaxed. Establish rapport quickly. Be a great listener. Reflect before answering. Be enthusiastic. Act confidently, not cocky. Take no longer than 2 minutes to answer questions. I need to take note of that. Send a personal thank you note by the US mail. How amazing would it be if every appointment me and my team went on, we sent a thank you note in the mail? Like, that's professional stuff, right? So we do all these things. This is the first building rapport in your bag of tricks, right? I got a ton more. I'm getting way over time. All right, be relatable. Like cats? I love cats. You know, when you show up at the appointment, just mirror them. Figure out like, how do I become relatable? How do I build rapport quickly in my sales cycle? Asking sensitive questions. So assume the positive. Income, mortgage. So a lot of times, you know, asking how much they make or how much their mortgage is. How much do you have left on your mortgage? It's like, what? I'm not telling you if I have a mortgage on this house. You know, ask differently. Like, oh, I'm sure a beautiful house like this, you probably don't have a mortgage on this house, do you? And they're like, oh, of course I have a mortgage. Like, what do you think? I'm rich or loaded? I don't have a paid off house. Like, see how you just ask the question a little bit differently, you'll get a different response. If, you know, income is a huge problem, right? Asking, if I went to a party and it was like, hey, how much do you make? Most people are going to look at me like, we just met, man. But if we're just kind of like talking and chatting and I'm like, I bet you make like $800,000 a year at that job of yours. They'd be like, no, I don't. I make like 150. You know, I can get the information out by asking a different question. So listen to them, find out their needs. It's a people business. Put yourself in their shoes, find out what they need. Really important. Handle objections. So I'm just going to list this on the MLS. Why don't you fix it up yourself? Usually I just say like, why are you trying to sell a beautiful house like this? And then they'll tell you all their problems. So, oh, why don't you just list it with a real estate agent? Like most wholesalers are like, don't mention a real estate agent. Do you think they don't know what real estate agents are? They do. They know that they exist. It is a known fact that real estate agents exist. They know that they can do that. Find out why they're not. Is that the best you can do? If you ask that question, so I'm going to give you guys all homework assignment. Go ask that question today to somebody, anything. If you got a contractor that's giving you a bid on something, just say, is that the best you can do? And shut up. I will save every one of you. You're going to pay $299 to get the exclusive bonus. If you paid $99, you're going to pay $200, I hope, because you want to talk to us for another hour after this. And I'm going to save you way over $300 by this alone. Is that the best you can do? Just ask that and shut up. And normally they're going to say, oh, I can knock 10% off of that. Or, yeah, I can do better. You know, that's it. Just ask that one question. Just ask it every time. Go ask. You'll save hundreds of thousands of dollars. You'll be Doug Norman down in Hawaii in 2 years from now just by asking that question. You'll be financially free. Doug, from now on, that's your presentation right there. Just say that and end it. So secret number 4, follow up. Secret number 4, follow up, follow up, follow up. I can't say this enough. All right, the fulfillment side. I'm going to give you a couple quick tips. Man, I'm over time already. There's my 2 o'clock bell. All right, building a buyer's list. I'm going to talk about some of the strategies because this is important. As a wholesaler, you need leads and you need buyers. That's all you should be focused on in the beginning, leads and buyers, okay? So here's, I'll give you some tips for building a buyer's list. right now, and then we can go deeper on the hour after this. So I like to do like reverse bandit signs. So when we get a deal, we put 5 or 6 bandit signs like cash only, 3-2, fixer upper, and a phone number on there. And then buyers will call us and we can get those in the beginning. Like I said, the back of my business card, I used to go to like seminars when they, like the road show would come and the gurus would come in town, and I'd put a little card on. We tried to go in. We would go in and hand those cards out or put them on the chairs. We started getting kicked out. So then we just started putting them on the windshield of the cars in the parking lots for our buyers list. It says, hey, you looking for rentals, looking for flips? Here you go. Go into Facebook groups, private Facebook groups for your local RIA. Probably have people, it says like, hey, I got this deal. They're like, here, I'm building my buyers list. What's your email? They put in all their emails. Like it's everywhere in the Facebook group. Just pay a VA like $2 an hour, $3 an hour to go in there and scrape every single email address that's in there, add them to your buyers list. There you go. Okay, now I just saved you like hundreds of thousands of dollars that you'll make from that one tip. Cool. All right, these are some different email accounts that we use. So MailChimp, Aweber, ActiveCampaign, these different things like to send out the email for this property. ActiveCampaign, if you're gonna start tomorrow, that would be my recommendation. It's amazing. Here's an example of one of our emails. This is a house that we were wholesaling. It just talks a little bit about it. I usually go into more details about what we say and why. We can do that on the extra hour call just because I'm out of time. So what I want to show you is our process now. So before I was a flipper, I identified as a flipper. I was like, I'm going to be a house flipper. And we just started flipping contracts instead. So as a wholesaler, we're flipping contracts instead of the house itself. And I think for me, it's more about the operational side. I get to manage a team. The velocity is really cool. I couldn't be somebody like an apartment investor that does like 2 or 3 deals a year. I really like the speed and the velocity of the houses. That's big for me. So here we go. Do what you say you're gonna do when you work with somebody. I like this one. It was like together since 1952. It was pretty cool. So if you're a buyer, the biggest thing to work with a wholesaler, if you do all the work and you review a deal, so we got flippers on here, we got landlords, we got all these people. The best way to work with a wholesaler, if you're gonna spend the time to look at the house, analyze the deal, make an offer. Make an offer, okay? We might not ever get an offer. So if you make an offer, you might be the only one who did. So as a wholesaler, I might go back to the seller and renegotiate based on your offer. So if you're gonna you're not gonna offend us. You're not gonna piss me off if you make a low offer. You ran the numbers, it works for you, make that offer, okay? So working with a wholesaler, the biggest thing that you can do what you say you're gonna do, act appropriately, read the contract, talk. Don't say you don't need an inspection and then ask for an inspection 2 days later and stuff like that. It's just bad business. Do what you say you're gonna do. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna be open and honest with you and do what we say we're gonna do. Here we go. Hiring's the key. Get over that hurdle very early. Incentivize your people to work hard for you. When you start hiring them, incentivize them to work hard. Don't be hoarding money and not be afraid to share in the growth. Scale responsibly. Hire for where you want to be, not where you are right now. So responsibly scale. It doesn't mean go out and hire 10 people day one. I've seen people try to do that. Start with the end in mind. So start with where you want to be. So start building the foundation of that now. And that doesn't have to be as a wholesaler, it could be with anybody. Be proactive and not reactive. Very important to think like this. The mentality, this mindset thing, surround yourself with people who are active and doing more than you. You guys have heard that, but like if I didn't surround myself with those people, I'd still be doing 4 or 5 deals a year and think that I was like, I don't know, the bee's knees, right? Like I thought that 10 deals, somebody flipping 12 houses a year was like the biggest flipper I'd ever met. I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to do 12 houses a year. And then I got around somebody who was doing like 300, 400 a year. And I was like, okay, well, I can do that too. Why can't I? Just let me do the same thing. Permission, remove the glass ceiling. I'm giving you all permission to go out there and do more and be more than you think that you can be. Action and implementation will always trump everything.